Okay. Oh, our camera's on. Okay, so welcome back. We are cranking out. Oh, I don't think the viewers can currently see you manager promote
Oh,
or manager
um,
Chipotle. Let's get that ready. Okay, so now the viewers can see manager Chipotle. Welcome back, manager Chipotle. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling like we can draft a league-winning roster.
I agree, and I think we have done an incredible job in this interesting mission we started where we
Yeah,
have had $200 and we're doing $5 mock drafts on Underdog worth of $200. And so far, as you can see in the top right, we've gone through $80 and we've cranked out a lot of mock drafts today. What do you think the theme has been? What are some what are some advice that you would want to give to the listeners going up to the season starting?
I think first and foremost, I think I covered this in a previous draft. I think it's really so. I really think that the last 3 weeks coming into the season, it's really like an interesting, weird limbo point because it's like, okay, you're ready for the season, but there's still some last minute stuff. So I think it's really pivotal to look for like, those last minute headlines, seeing if there's any running backs that haven't got extended, haven't, um, or if there's anybody holding out. There's usually like some last minute headlines that kind of pop in before the season starts because, players haven't made that decision yet. So I think that's really big in terms of seeing, who's going to come up and or what the ADP or how they'll be affected based on those headlines. I think it's important to look at that. That's definitely one aspect. And I would say it's really just to kind of see. It's good to have a good idea of the overall terrain of the players. I think, for example, wide receivers are very strong this year as they've been last year, so
Mm-hmm.
good trend to look at. And then running backs are a little bit scarce this year as opposed to other years. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's been interesting, we're veteran fantasy football players at this point. We've played for nearly what, over a decade at this point. So we've seen how the market shifts, and some years running backs are valued highly, some years wide receivers are valued highly. So when are you when do you think it's of value to go out and reach for your guy in a draft versus settling for someone who is really good value at that draft pick?
I think first and foremost, I look at the team surrounding him. If I
Mm-hmm.
look at a receiver, is the offensive coordinator somebody that that's knows what he's doing? Is the quarterback thrown to him? Is there a chemistry that can be put together there? And I think what's also important is the receiver you're getting, can he be easily stacked with the quarterback you could draft later, and you wouldn't necessarily compromise another pick by picking a quarterback. So I think seeing if there's a stack availability, seeing if there's an offense that can be built around him where the quarterback can usually, there's a good connection there, offensive coordinator.
Uh-huh.
And I think when it comes to running back, I think it's important to look at that offensive line, look at that offensive play calling style. That's big when it comes to running back. And also, I think with this development of pass catching that's really evolving,
Yep.
I think it's important to see, how I think it's good to see the offensive coordinator in that aspect because you see, can they get creative? Do they have a history of being creative? Who are the players they worked with in the past and how did they use them? So I think that's really interesting. And I think in particular, Jameer Gibbs, there was some talk on the offensive coordinator working with them in ways people haven't seen before, or unlike what people would expect. So examples like that, things that can put players in position where you can draft them at a high value. So I think there's different scenarios to go about. So it's just a matter of seeing who falls to you.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Those are really good points. Now, another question I have is, what is your favorite draft pick? We've done a lot of these drafts. You're in a lot of different leagues. What have you sort of seen yourself as gravitating towards as your favorite draft pick?
I really, really like if I'm landing a little bit earlier. I definitely want to get you know, a great running back. I think that would be a good way to actually not a running back. I would say I think for earlier we've been levitating more towards receivers, and I
Mm-hmm.
think receivers are the cream of the crop earlier in the first round. Then if I'm later in the
Yep.
draft, I want to get a running back. I think we can really get some great value there. So forget
Yeah.
what I said. I would say receivers early and then running backs a little bit late in the first round.
That's absolutely great, advice in this market. We've seen wide receivers being valued extra. We know they are league winning. And then later on in the first round, you can find some value. Some guys that can win you your can be that workhorse running back for your fantasy team, whether it's Christian McCaffrey, whether it's Austin Eckler, whether it's Bijan, or whether it's Nick Chubb. Those are the four main guys going in the first round. Any of those guys will
Yeah.
suffice as as you said, cream of the crop. So we have the third overall pick in this draft, and as the draft starts, Justin Jefferson goes first, and where Christian McCaffrey goes second. So, as you said in the beginning of the first round, you tend to go receivers. So there's a receiver here that I think both of us are looking at, Jamar Chase.
Yep. Yep. Definitely lock him in. Definitely
Yep.
is a great pick.
So why do you think Jamar Chase is a fantastic slam dunk pick in the top three?
Because you got Joe Burrow throwing to him. I mean, this guy, we've seen what Joe Burrow can do. We've seen the connection that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have had going dating back to LSU. These guys are literally right in the best time of their careers, right in their prime. They're hitting their stride just now in year three. I think they'll have a great explosive season, and I think they'll really build on top of what they've already built thus far. And I think Jamar Chase, he's been healthy. I know he had a little bit of an injury last year, but he's healthy. He looks good to go. They're hungry, so I see no doubt in my mind why we can't go Jamar Chase.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I think that's an awesome pick right there at three. We have to start three wide receivers, and we can, count on this guy on a week to week basis. And then right after Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill goes at the four, Austin Eckler
Yep.
goes at the five, Travis Kelsey goes at the six, and
Let's see.
Bijan
Bijan goes
Robinson
here,
goes
and
at the
Bijan goes.
seven.
Yep.
So we've uploaded three videos on our YouTube page, and me myself, you, and Corona, all three of us have drafted Travis Kelsey. What is sort of your conclusion when you draft Travis Kelsey? Are you able to round up a valid team that you feel confident about going into the season?
See, the way I look at Travis Kelsey is I see a lot of ways to go about it. You can pair Travis Kelsey. You can get a running back. Given that the position you pick Kelsey, you can get a receiver. I think Travis Kelsey opens up a unique opportunity where you can even get a great receiver, and you can even still stack up on another tight end later, and even do a double tight end formation. And that may sound like preposterous, but if you do have like a George Kittle or like a good, decent value tight end later in the draft, and you have some good receivers, I wouldn't mind pairing those two guys up too. So, and then, it would be interesting to see. And even with Kelsey, you can even stack him with Mahomes if you want to take a quarterback. But I'm usually not big on taking the quarterback early. So, I'm big on the double tight end. I think that's underrated. So that's how I
Mm-hmm.
would go about it.
Yeah,
What are
no,
your thoughts?
absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned double tight end formation. That's, so one of your big, big trademark sort of strategies that your franchise has done. So Travis Kelsey absolutely opens up a bunch of different strategies that you're not usually used to. So yeah, absolutely. So once Travis Kelsey and Bijan Robinson go, Stephon Diggs goes at the 8, AJ Brown goes at the 9, CD Lamb goes at the 10, Nick Chubb goes off at the 11, Garrett Wilson at the 12, and then to start off the second round at the 201, Tony Pollard at the 202, Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 203, Saquon Barkley at the 204, Derrick Henry at the 205, Devontae Adams. What's sort of your strategy when you're looking at this 22nd pick?
Um, I'm definitely looking at running backs and receivers. I'm looking to see who's there. I really like Jalen Waddle as a great pick. I see Devontae Smith and Chris Olave. Cooper Cup, I know that injury is a little concerning, so I'm going to stay away from Cooper Cup. And I'm also looking at, I really like Josh Jacobs and Jahmyr Gibbs. Josh Jacobs is actually would be a good pick. I think, this is a guy that can really, prosper in this offense that Josh McDaniels is putting together. So what do you think?
Absolutely. I think you said a whole bunch of names that are gonna win us a whole lot of fantasy football games, and that makes me very excited. So, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave, Devontae Smith. I don't think we can really go wrong with any of these receivers. And then Josh Jacobs is a running back that,
Up goes Jalen Waddle. So we're down to two of those receivers.
yeah. And then Josh Jacobs is. There we go. So now we're down to a running back or wide receiver. My argument for running back would be that I think there's a big tier fall off afterwards. That he will be our workhorse running back and he'll be our staple running
Okay,
back.
let's lock him in.
And we go Josh Jacobs, Jamar Chase. They're gonna be the ones of their respective positions. It would be amazing if one of these two fall. However, the chance that
Ideally,
that doesn't
probably not.
happen. What are we looking at as far as Chris Olave goes there. Devontae Smith will probably go between these two picks. What else are we looking at right here?
um, I like T. Higgins, not gonna lie. Manager Easy. I really, really like T. Higgins.
We
He would
we
be a
have
great,
Jamar Chase. I'm a little concerned about like taking that. It would work.
but then we would have to take Joe Burrow a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit
like if
early.
we take Joe Burrow, then there's upside. If we don't, then it's like we're really splitting the difference with the high picks.
Yeah, we would be
Devontae
kind
Smith
of.
could fall and answer all our prayers, and he did.
And let's go on Devontae Smith. Okay,
You
that
know
I
that
was
you
under the
know exactly, yeah. So that's a
yeah
perfect start. That's exactly what we were
yeah
hoping for. We wanted that running back. We wanted that wide receiver. We got both of them. Um,
yeah.
what's how do you feel about this team? What are you most excited about?
I am very excited. I think I'm very excited about the receivers that we got. I mean, you put Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith on one roster. I mean, that is a recipe for success. And you have Josh Jacobs as a workhorse running back. I mean, that's I didn't think Devontae Smith would fall, and I am surprised
Mm-hmm.
that Calvin Ridley went in the second round. I usually I would expect him to go in the fourth or fifth, maybe in the fourth. So I am surprised about that. Devontae Smith, I would think he goes late second. So maybe I think overall he went around the time he was maybe expected, but I'm really glad we got him. I didn't think he would fall to us.
Yeah, so let's take a look at who went before Devontae Smith. So
Josh Allen,
players
Jameer
like
Gibbs.
Calvin Ridley went, and I mean it seemed like the wide receiver position just fell in general. So after Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf went off at the 304, Mark Andrews at the 305, T Higgins at the 306, Keenan Allen at the 307, Debo Samuel at the 308. So it looks like there's a lot of receivers going off right now. There's essentially a big tier fall off in terms of running back afterwards. Who's sort of the running back you're targeting in this next group of running backs?
So we're 13 picks away, so I know we're not going to get Etienne. Ramondo just went. So I really like somebody that can potentially fall to us, maybe take a chance on somebody like Aaron Jones or Alexander Madison. I think Brees Hall will get picked. So I think, yeah, I mean, Alexander Madison is somebody. Alexander Madison or Ken Walker. I'm eyeing. What are your thoughts?
I think Alexander Madison. We would be at the 46, 40. I don't know.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
it
like
would be a
it'd
little
be
a bit
too
early.
high.
Yeah.
I'm really looking at probably a Brees Hall or Aaron Jones, or
Excuse
We
me.
could also shift to wide receiver. I think Alexander Madison is just too much of a reach at that point.
Okay.
Especially if some of these better running backs that I'm really looking at, like a Brees Hall, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, Damian Pierce. Those are running backs I'm looking at that get me more excited than Alexander Madison. So I would probably want to pair them up with a Josh Jacobs, especially if I'm reaching. However,
I like the receivers that are here too. I mean, I Mike Williams is a good pick. I think Ayuk is a good value pick. There's some good receivers here, but I think running backs, I really do like Brees Hall. Brees Hall or Aaron Jones isn't a bad pick. Ken Walker, not a terrible pick. But I think I wouldn't mind taking Aaron Jones. I think I mentioned Aaron Jones a little earlier as well. Um,
yeah. So
go
I I think a lot of good players are about to fall to us, and we're let's see who exactly falls to us. Joe Mixon could be on the clock. That's a
Is it
that's a
worth to take the risk
tremendous
with Joe Burrow?
value in the fourth round.
Is it worth to take Joe Burrow with that early, given the stack with Jamar, or should we pass on him?
Maybe on the turnaround, but I think we should focus on a skill position here.
Yeah,
So Brees Hall,
Brees Hall,
Drake
Joe Mixon
London.
just got picked.
Actually,
Okay,
no, not Drake London. Sorry. Let's look at running back. Aaron Jones. Looking at Damian Pierce. That's someone I haven't taken too much of, and he had an exciting rookie year, and it could be something said. But Brees Hall does fall to us.
I like Brees Hall. I think he'll have a good season. He had a great start last year. Obviously had a tough injury, but I think he'll have a great bounce back, especially in that talented Jets offense.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of talent out there in New York, and he might not be the best to start off for the first half of the season, but I think he's gonna find his role in New York, and by the second half of the season, he can be a really good complement to Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
So I would be looking for another running back, but I do really, really like that running back two pick. There's also that choice of going Joe Burrow here, as you mentioned, and Aaron Jones. Then there's some receivers we haven't looked at. Who are the receivers you're looking at as we're on the clock?
I like Christian Kirk. I think that's somebody that's I think that I like that pick.
Christian Kirk.
Um,
So
we
now,
can get Trevor Lawrence, maybe stack those two together if you don't want to take Joe Burrow.
I don't know. Yeah, screw it. Let's go Burrow. I feel
Okay.
like we have invested a lot into that Jacksonville offense. Let's invest a little into that Cincy offense.
Okay.
This is a
Sure.
unique combination too with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and it would now. That being said, it would have been interesting to see what would have happened if we had a T Higgins instead of a Devonte
Yeah.
Smith. But Devonte Smith is I at the end of the day, I think the
Yeah, I'm not
better
complaining about
player.
Devontae Smith, man.
Yeah, he's the better player. So we're in a good position. I think we should be now that quarterback squared away. We can really be looking at our skill positions here: running back, wide receiver, and tight end.
Manager Easy, you mind turning the camera on? I noticed that your camera's off.
No, my camera is on the viewers can see my face.
Gotcha.
However, if I turn my camera on for you, they would see two like me two times. If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So
Got you, it does. Yep.
yeah,
So let's take a look at our roster so far. So we're 5 rounds in. Just want to see how it looks. So we have Joe Burrow at the quarterback, Josh Jacobs, Brees Hall, and we have Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith as our receivers. Definitely think we should think about taking another receiver. As you know, we're getting a little bit into like the core of our receivers.
Hmm.
So George Pickens got picked, Christian Kirk, so two receivers we were looking at earlier.
Who are the
Um,
receivers you're looking at? As let's take a look at where we would be picking 70. So going down to around 70. Who are the receivers over here you're taking a look at in this area?
I really like Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think JSN will bring a lot of good value. I really like Jordan Addison as well. Um, Gabe Davis, I'm not too high on. I would take one. I would definitely try to snag one of the rookies and complement that with two stud receivers we already have.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, the rookies would be awesome. It'd be nice if, one of these tier guys do fall to us,
Yeah,
but
of
I
course. I mean,
don't,
definitely.
that
Yeah,
not expecting they don't. The rookies would be really nice. And then there's also some running backs on the board. Who are the running backs that you're looking at? Around the 70 range, so right around right here.
I like Miles Sanders just because he would be, I think he would be the running back one in Carolina. So I think, he was good in Philadelphia. So I think, he would be, I think he would be a good value pick. And you pair him up with Josh Jacobs. And who was our other running back again?
Our other running backs are
Yeah,
Josh
Brees
Jacobs
Hall.
and Brees Hall.
Yeah, so I think that would be, he would fit right in there.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I feel like adding J.K. Dobbins on our draft board would be nice as well. I
okay.
Oh, unfortunately, he goes out the board. But that being said, we do still have Miles Sanders. So let's see if any of these three guys do fall to us as we are three picks away. I think Jahan Dotson and Mike Evans
Yeah,
are going to
he's
fall
one
to us
guy
as
that
well.
I think, he'll be really, really good at Washington. We don't know what it's going to look like with Sam Howell at quarterback, but Jahan Dotson had a lot of great spurts last year. I would love to take him as a receiver, as a young receiver, not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's someone I honestly have not like taken too many shots on, and
Yeah,
he's someone we want a little bit of shares on. Someone that's young, that's talented, that could pan out if Sam Howell is the answer out there in Washington. So let's hope that he falls.
if not, then I wouldn't mind taking one of the rookie receivers.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. So it looks like Mike
All right,
Evans
so
goes.
Mike Evans. So
So
both the
let's
Tampa
see if
Bay
Jahan
players getting
Dotson
picked.
falls.
Yep. Come on, I'm actually really hoping to get Jahan Dotson, not gonna lie to you. Um, oh no.
Wow, we got
That's
sniped. Oh,
all
okay.
right. I'm not upset. I think we can go JSN or Jordan Addison. What do you think?
I feel like Jordan Addison.
We gotta make a decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
go Jordan Addison here.
okay,
If you give me
we
the
can talk about
choice,
that.
mainly
Yeah,
because simple numbers: two versus three, three of them out there in Seattle, two of them out there in Minnesota. But T.J. Hawkinson is out there in Minnesota as well. It's really,
true.
it's
Yeah,
really you can't go wrong either way. We have taken JSN in the past. Let's take some Jordan Addison.
yeah, for sure. And then we want to take a look at the tight ends just to kind of see. I'm not saying we take one, but
Yeah,
just to kind of see who's there. All right, we can definitely wait on tight ends. I thought for a second George Kittle was there,
Goddard's
but
not a terrible option out
Dallas
here in the
Goddard.
pick. Yeah, a Goddard. He's
Yeah,
not a bad
Goddard
pick
is
at
yeah.
75. Although JSN could fall to us and we could both
If JSN
get
falls to
both
us, I would love to
rookies.
take both the rookies. Yeah, James Conner's still there too. I wouldn't mind taking him given he's the running back one. But I feel like we've taken a couple shots on James Conner. I
Let's
wouldn't mind
see.
taking somebody else. What do you think? We got 20 seconds, so
Uh, yeah, this is taking a big risk, but we're just really taking a stab at the rookies, kind of just hoping both of them work out, which I don't like doing sometimes, because you 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 kind of just usually it's just law of averages where one works out, one doesn't. And when you have to depend on them as your wide receiver three and wide receiver four, that's not like the best thing. However, there is a world where both of them work out. I ideally like to employ that strategy where there's like odds of, the law of averages. I like to employ that when I'm working with depth, when it's like, my wide receiver four, five, or my wide receiver four and six, my wide receiver five and six. However, they are both still really good picks. Um, I don't know. I feel like we probably are good at receiver for right now.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely agree.
looking at running back now. What are you thinking about our roster, Chipotle?
I think our roster is really good so far. I think receivers were pretty much set for a few rounds, maybe not a few, but a couple rounds. I think we definitely got great value in Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase, and then we definitely took a little bit of a risk. But I think there's a massive upside with Jordan Addison and JSN.
Hmm.
And like you said, if one fails, one another guys will definitely. I think it's pretty hard to believe that both these rookies will flop. So I think
Hmm.
I'm feeling pretty confident. And we got Joe Burrow at the quarterback. I mean, so we have that position locked up. So I think, yeah, for sure, definitely we should look at running backs. And running backs, I'm looking at Dalvin Cook because we have Brees Hall. So having
Hmm.
Dalvin Cook as like that back, assuming he will fall to us, I
Yep.
wouldn't mind taking Dalvin Cook, but I don't know if he will fall to us.
Yeah. Dalvin. Oh, Dalvin Cook goes right there.
Oh, yeah, Dalvin Cook just went, so we probably won't get. I mean, that's out the door. Running backs. Pacheco's not a terrible pick. I like Pacheco given he's on that Kansas City offense, but I don't know if we'll get him. He might go within 10 picks.
Yeah, Pacheco would be nice for sure. I don't know if he'll fall to us. So we could go like the whole rookie route
Take all
where
three
we just,
rookies. That
yeah,
would that would definitely be a big that would definitely be a
it's
big
just
risk,
like
especially
a
with
rookie parade. We have a team. It's like a unique strategy. We have one team that's employed just for the rookies, and we just, take a stab at the rookies, as they as a fun way. Sky Moore is someone else that we could take a look at, as he sets to have an every down role out there in Kansas City. And then Rashad White as well. He's a pass catcher. We want to look for that
yeah
PPR upside. So we're probably looking at some of these running backs, some of these wide receivers. Bateman, as I've said, I definitely do like. Khalil Herbert is someone, he's starting running back on a dreadful Chicago offense, but he's still a starting running back. Um, and we could take a tight end one. So there's a lot of options for us as we're coming up. Are you still on, Promote?
Yeah, I'm still here. Just had to
Okay.
step off real quick. But
Yeah, no
no, I
problem.
mean definitely this is an interesting point because it's the eighth round. There's definitely a lot of different avenues we can go on. Tight end, we don't have any tight ends, so it would be worth maybe slightly looking at that. But at the same time, getting maybe like I think running back definitely would be our main priority. Maybe on the flip side, we can maybe try to get a tight end, but I would say Pacheco. I didn't think he would fall. We would have a shot,
If he
but he might
falls.
fall to us. Tua got picked, so I'm really hoping we get Pacheco. We weren't able to get
Oh my god,
Pacheco.
this guy,
Happen
Jimmy
again.
Jimmy 115, has been sniping us all
All right,
freaking.
so running back. What do you think here? We should definitely go running back.
I think let's take tight end. Let's take our tight end
Tight end. Okay,
before he
at least
goes, and then
one.
we'll take running back on the flip side.
Okay, word. Yeah, damn, that sucks. Pacheco. Who was the guy that he sniped before?
I forget, but it's
Oh, it
just
was Jahan Dotson. It was
Jahan
Jahan Dotson.
Dotson. Imagine Jahan Dotson right here, and
And Pacheco.
Pacheco
Oh,
as a running back three
that would be
would be
prolific.
filthy. Yeah. Um.
I like Rashad Bateman, not gonna lie, Yeezy,
as he
but and he just
goes.
got picked. That's crazy.
Dang.
All
Okay,
right, that's
so
okay. We still got some good running backs.
let's go Brian Robinson or
Yeah, I like
Antonio
Brian Robinson as
Gibson. It's
well.
really a 50-50 shot. AJ Dillon does have a role out there in Green Bay. Do you know if he has pass catch upside?
I don't think he does. I think that's more Aaron Jones, to be honest. I remember Aaron Jones getting a little bit more pass catching compared to AJ Dillon. AJ
Uh-huh.
Dillon's more of like third down guy, maybe getting to the end zone.
Touchdowns. He got a
Yeah.
touchdown every other
So
game. That's not a bad thing to depend on. But let's go
yeah,
Brian Robinson or
yeah, I
Antonio
like Brian
Gibson. Who do you
Robinson.
think?
He's had a full off season of being healthy. I think he'll have a good bounce back season.
Who, Brian
I think
Robinson or
we
Antonio Gibson?
Brian
Okay.
Robinson.
All right.
Okay, good.
So
I thought for a second we wouldn't get him.
no, we had him up on cue. So we got Brian Robinson at pick 99. It was sort of a leap to get, some sort of starting running back in the NFL as our running back three. Now we have Josh Jacobs, Brees Hall, Brian Robinson as our running backs, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Jordan Addison, JSN as our wide receivers, Evan Ingram as our tight end, and Joe Burrow as our quarterback. What do you what position group are you looking at and you're like, okay, this is the position group we need to address moving forward?
In terms of addressing, I think definitely. So running backs, I think I'm not too concerned about just because there's a lot of promise there. But and we've seen their game too, so I have confidence in them coming out ready to go. Receivers, I think, apart from Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith, there's a little bit of concern with the receivers that needs to be addressed. I think we definitely need to get an insurance receiver just
Mm.
to have that as a backing in case the rookies do flop. But at the same time, I like the upside, so I can't really say we're doing anything incorrect. I do I am looking at a Tyler Boyd, given that we have Joe Burrow. I would like to think he would get picked, given that his ADP is starting to come up to where the draft is as well, and we're 9 picks away. So, if Tyler Boyd falls to, that'll be something great. And I do like the guys you're queuing up as well. You got Romeo Dobbs, you got Juju,
It's got a bunch of
Marvin
guys.
Mims. I really like in Denver.
It's just a whole bunch of list of names that like I don't love. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but
yeah, for sure.
I'm a little curious about. There's some upside there, um, and it's kind of just just throwing a hail mary out there in the 10th, 11th round, and
Yeah,
hoping that one of them hits. So that's what
Juju
I'm
just
looking
got
at
picked.
for wide receiver. As you said, running back we're looking good at. Quarterback, of course, we got Joe Burrow. Maybe tight end. We could go your favorite double tight end formation with like another hero tight end like Frymouth or Njoku. Is that something that would interest you?
Not gonna lie, I think it does manage easy because Pat Frymouth, I think, will get a good decent amount of volume this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I also do like Zach Charbonnet at running back, but I feel like we should address receiver or tight end before.
Yeah, I think Tyler Boyd should be that pick, as you
All
mentioned.
right.
I think that's
Yep.
like the
I think we
most
should go for
upside we
Tyler
can
Boyd
get,
next.
especially
Yeah.
knowing that we didn't get T Higgins. Now we just kind of hope that T Higgins has a down game and the rest of the team has a really really good game. So hopefully we can get Tyler Boyd at the 118. And then if not, then we can look at some of these other one, two, three, four receivers and decide which receiver we want to take. Um,
No, for sure. And I think hopefully this JJMM doesn't snipe us again and take the player that we want.
oh my
Let's see.
God, let's hope. He still
Jared Goff,
doesn't have a
boy.
tight end. Take a tight end, man. All right, we're
Aaron
good.
Rodgers, okay. All right, so this clears the way with Tyler Boyd. I think this works out well. Even though we didn't get T. Higgins, we still got a good stack going. Or like I said, the triple stack.
Yep. Triple stack. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. I always like, as there's something satisfying about doing stacks in these underdog drafts.
No,
What's
100%,
what's
man.
sort of out of you've been doing a couple of these drafts. What are some of the stacks that you've commonly seen that you've been able to make?
So the stacks I've been really seeing a lot is Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk. I think that's a really common stack. I
Yep.
think Joe Burrow isn't as common just because Joe Burrow is taken a little bit earlier than Trevor Lawrence, or sometimes they're taken together. But I see Trevor Lawrence and Kirk falling together because Kirk will get picked later and Jamar is a top three pick. So
Yeah.
that's a common one. I'm trying to think. I see Rodgers and Garrett Wilson a lot too, just because
Yeah.
Rodgers is a much later pick.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
I
one.
see a couple of those that could work. So
So we're about to be on the clock, and there's really no. I'm looking at some of these receivers here. Someone that's a little exciting is maybe a Nico Collins or Zay Jones or Marvin
I wouldn't
Mims.
mind. I wouldn't mind taking Nico Collins. I think that's a reliable pick. He had a good year last year. Let's take Nico Collins. We can get another
Yeah,
reliable
absolutely.
receiver.
Yeah, I agree. Nico Collins is, someone's gonna have to shine for CJ Stroud out there in Houston. And
Yeah,
I was honestly looking at either Nico Collins, Marvin Mims, um, especially now that Jerry Judy is injured. So you can't really
yeah,
go wrong with either pick out there in the 11th round. So there's some value picks that you'd be looking for.
for sure, for sure. I don't know if any of those receivers that we have queued up right now will fall to us in the next go round. But
Yeah, we
let's
have
start
six
kind of
receivers, so let's look at some other positions.
let's look at tight end and running back. Let's look at tight end, running back, and then let's look at quarterback too, just to kind of see who we have.
You cut out manager Chipotle.
Yeah,
Someone I'm looking at is maybe a Devon A Chain. Uh, now that there's news about Jeff Wilson
yeah.
getting injured and going on the IR, so he could be a really nice running back for.
I think that.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I think to be honest, manager easy. I think definitely the way we should. I think if a Chane or a Chan, I don't know
A
how to
Chain.
pronounce his name, so forgive me. A Chain. Okay, yeah. If he falls to us, I would definitely like to take him.
Yep.
And then we can definitely pair him with a good tight end. I like Sam Laporta, and I think he'll be a good addition on that Detroit offense. I don't know if he'll fall to us, but let's see.
Yeah, Devon A Chain unfortunately goes off at the
Yeah,
131. Um, and then Elijah Mitchell at the 132. So there's a couple tight ends that we can take here to pair up with Evan Ingram, Sam Laporta, Dalton Schultz, Tyler
I
Higbee.
like Cole. I think Cole
Tyler
Kmet's also
Higbee
a
is
sleeper
not a
pick.
great option in Underdog, but there's also some running backs we can take a look at. Who are you looking at running backs? Cole Komet, you mentioned.
Um, I like Tyler Algier just because of the Bijan hype being a lot. So I mean, God forbid, obviously, we don't wish this on anybody, but in case Bijan does have a injury, after all that hype, Tyler Algier is the next man up. So getting him in the 12th round could be a potential steal, given that we don't know what the outcome will be with Bijan. Then
It's
again, that's a pretty big reach. We can't really we can't confidently say that Algier could even play as
it's
much. So
it's understated that Algier went off for 1,000 yards last season, and he's a
yeah, that's
backup running
crazy.
back. Yeah, it's crazy.
We're 4 picks away. I wouldn't mind taking Algier to be honest with you.
Yeah, Algier. I'm also there's some other running backs I like. Yeah, I don't mind Algier though.
Yeah, I think I'm confident on Algier just because we don't know what's going to happen with Bijan, and I think it's good to have like a backup to a running back just in case next man up policy. So I
As
like
Tyler
Algier.
Algier just goes by our guy
Oh,
Jim.
unbelievable.
Maybe we take Roshan Johnson. He's someone we haven't really dipped on, but
Okay.
it's similar situation in Chicago, where he's a running back, and Khalil Herbert. You know, this guy's never really had a starting role. Who knows if he's gonna be the guy?
Yeah.
Um, so really, just that more than anything. And then tight end, maybe we take a shot on a Gerald Everett, a Ferguson, a Musgrave, a Okonkwo, a Juwan Johnson. Yeah, maybe we take like a Okonkwo here.
I
How do you feel
I
about
don't
that?
mind. I don't like to be honest. Even actually no, not never mind. That might be a little too. I was gonna say Irv Smith, but we could probably wait for him
Yeah, we
because I
could
mean it's pretty
absolutely
far
wait for
down.
him.
I like Rasheed Rice too. Not
Ooh,
gonna lie,
or
manager
Van
easy.
Jefferson.
Or Van Jefferson, given that the recent news of him being a WR3. Let's pick Van Jefferson.
No, he's actually the WR1
One, sorry,
in
excuse me,
LA.
sorry.
Yeah, in
Yeah, he's
LA as long
WR1.
as Cooper Cup is out. So
Yeah.
like the first
Joshua
week he's
Palmer
gonna
would be
have
the
a
WR3.
boom week. Maybe like our rookies, they might take a couple weeks, to get settled in. Van Jefferson could help them get settled in. That's the
Yep.
sort of strategy we're looking for when we're making these drafts.
Yeah. And I was looking at even Rasheed Rice too, but given that Van Jefferson is WR1, definitely would have to take him in that situation. But
Yep.
I really like where we got him too. I mean, I think in some leagues he fell even below, so I think the fact that he's getting picked up a little bit earlier could definitely be a good trend set, especially these next coming days with drafts being done.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. So it's like I said earlier, like these last 2 3 weeks where there's a lot of headlines, a lot of football coming in. I mean, you will get curveballs like this. I mean, we're not even into the season. We already hear about all these injuries and holdouts and things like that. So
Yep.
I think the draft board changes every day.
Oh
I
yeah,
really do
you
like it
notice
changes
it
every day.
fast. You notice it fast
Like
in these underdog drafts
like it
where
hits you like a
the
train. I mean,
market, it's like a market where it shifts
yeah, it's
within
like
like
a stock
24
market. That's really what
hours.
it is. Yeah.
Within 24 hours, drafters are shifting, adjusting, and the players are dropping where the market, has them.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that comparison you said to a stock market. It's just so volatile. And that's just one of the hardships of football, It is a tough sport to play and it's a tough sport to succeed in. So, obviously you have to look at the human side of it. You got to appreciate these players. But yeah, I mean it really does evolve and I think it's really up to the manager to see how they can, use that news and generate a league winning roster. And then, as I see her kind of lining up the tight ends,
Mm-hmm.
I liked all three of these options. I think Greg Dulcich could get into the mix given that Jerry Judy's hurt. And,
Mm-hmm.
rather than fully relying on Marvin Mims being that option, maybe they can throw in Dulcich as well, especially on those third down plays.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
oh,
that would
he
be
just
nice,
went,
but he
so
just went.
RIP that analysis. I like Deion Jackson too, a running back, given that he's running back one going into week one. But we're 9 picks away, so I don't know if he'll land to us.
I like Condre Miller,
I like Condre
Gilmore. I
Miller as
like
well.
Tajay Spears. Um, Even a Deuce Vaughn. Who knows? All rookies that maybe take a shot on, and
Yeah.
then double down on our
Yeah. Any
rookie
any
selections.
offensive line analysis you have, manager easy for any of these running backs that are left? Anybody we can kind of use that as leverage to take in these last picks that can be as sleepers or nothing really. I don't think there's anything
I mean,
crazy.
we're really just left with the bottom of the barrel backup running backs that it's like shooting darts, and you're kind of hoping you land one
Yeah.
of them in the middle, but you need to shoot a couple of them to be able to do that. So that's what you're really banking on. It's not really about the offensive line. It's more about getting lucky with an injury or something like that. But that being
Yeah.
said, we had a Tajay Spears who was on the Tennessee Titans. Say a Derrick Henry did get injured, the Tennessee Titans do have the 32nd worst. Yeah, they have the worst offensive line. He would have
Yep.
struggled as a starter. So
Yeah.
maybe he's not the best rookie to take there, and maybe a Condre Miller is a better rookie to take. So maybe there's a bit of analysis to be said there, but not nothing you got to be doing your homework
Concrete.
on
Yeah. Yeah.
too
So
much.
I think manager easy. We have JMM picking. I think we should definitely take a we should I'm looking at quarterback here, not gonna lie. Just because we don't have anybody after Joe Burrow. I'm thinking we take Matthew Stafford.
I'm not feeling too good about Matthew Stafford because
But we have
as
Van
that Cooper
Jefferson, that's
Cup
the thing.
news. How about a Sam Howell? Young guy, who knows
Okay.
like how's he gonna play? We haven't
Yeah,
really dipped on him too much. Let's
my only
give him a
argument
try.
my only argument for Stafford was we have Van Jefferson who's WR1.
I know
So that
that,
was
but like that's only
yeah,
for 1 week. I just at least that's what cup owners are hoping. I'm
yeah.
not. I'm hesitant on drafting Stafford in these drafts. I
Okay,
would
that's
rather
fair.
be drafting Sam Howell with more weapons, a team that is trying to improve rather than a team out there in LA that's just end of an era that's just kind of just finishing it off.
Yeah. Um, so you're not really big on La La Land.
On LA
All right.
this year? No, absolutely not. So we are on the clock again, and I think we need to look at running back here.
Yep, agreed.
Um,
I really like Deuce Vaughn, not gonna lie. Kareem Hunt's not a bad pick. We don't know where he's gonna end up. But I think Deuce Vaughn's a good pick here.
yeah, but I feel like Kareem Hunt gives us some you know,
On Okay, we can pick him some underrated
who
value.
knows? Yeah, very very low
Yeah.
key, underrated, under the radar upside that we that's really what we're this team is all about, right? Upside. That's why we picked Sam Howell over Matt Stafford. Kind of just hoping, he kind of pans out into something. And then
Yeah, no, for sure.
that's why we picked a Roshan Johnson and a Kareem Hunt later on, and then that's why we picked Jordan Addison, JSN, Nico Collins. So it's interesting how we're going for really that upside strategy in this draft.
Yeah, and I think as we kind of get towards the end here, I really, really like our roster so far, and I really like how it was constructed and the way we were able to build some great running backs, and also at the same time we took some risks. I would say this is definitely a little bit more risk compared to the other drafts we've done, but
Hmm.
at the same time, the upside is through the roof. I mean, if any of these players, I mean, to be honest, if any of these players pop off, especially when you look at the young rookies, I mean that will skyrocket our team, and then you got a nice stack going with Boyd and Chase. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I put Irv Smith. You mentioned him earlier on
Yep,
the
we can do a little
queue.
quadruple stack there.
Yeah, exactly. Get a little double tight end action there.
Yeah,
He'll be
no,
our
for sure.
backup tight end if he does fall to us. If he doesn't fall to us, what other tight ends are you looking at?
Um, I'm looking at Tyler Conklin, not gonna lie, just because he is the tight end one on the Jets, and you have Aaron
Hmm.
Rodgers thrown to him. I would like to take. I think Tyler Conklin would be a good value pick. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be down to put him, second in queue right behind Irv Smith. I do have a question for you. Why is Well, one interesting thing I did notice on Underdog is Hunter Henry is going off as a tight end 25th, and Mike Gesicki is going off at the tight end 23. That's a pretty big discrepancy. What is your outlook for how they're going to be used and who's going to be the better tight end? And is it going to be, Hunter Henry tight end 1, Mike Gesicki tight end 2?
That's interesting because Hunter Henry a couple years ago was a main end zone threat, and then yes, last year we didn't really see that necessarily. But given that Bill O'Brien, as mentioned before, he is known for running his offense through the tight ends. And Gesicki, I mean, they paid him to come to New England to produce. So I would like to think they're going to involve them both. But I do eventually think that Mike Gesicki will take over. Given that he is a little bit younger, I think he will have a little bit more targets, especially in the end zone. But I do think they'll use Hunter Henry in a good fashion. But I would take Mike Gesicki over
Interesting.
Hunter
So
Henry. Yeah,
that's like a very, very late in your draft. Someone, you know, all these platforms are maybe
not Irv
valuing
Smith.
wrongly, and you could instead of taking Hunter Henry, wait in your draft and take a Mike Gesicki in the last round, where
Exactly.
he's
Yeah.
going undrafted. But I think we're gonna be taking Tyler Conklin here
Yep.
as
Yep.
we're
And I'm not upset
approaching
about that.
on pick night 190.
Yep. And I'm not upset about that either because I think Tyler Conklin will definitely get some usage from Aaron Rodgers,
Oh my
especially in the end
god,
zone.
Jim. This guy like
Wow.
literally all draft. Oh my
That's
god. Okay.
crazy. All
How
right.
does Hayden
I
Hurst
think
look?
I like Hayden Hurst. He's primary option in Carolina. I think Bryce Young will find him, but man, J Jim or whatever his name is. I mean, he
Jim.
keeps shafting us.
He is like
Jahan Dotson,
killing us.
uh, Jahan Dotson, Tyler Conklin just now.
So essentially,
Check.
we have two quarterbacks, five running backs, seven receivers, and two tight ends. And we have two final picks, one coming up in a moment. I say we take a value pick here, someone who, we want, someone that looks good to us. Maybe I don't feel too bad about quarterback, tight end. Tight end, we could
Stecky.
take like a high upside Isaiah Likely if Mark Andrews gets injured.
Yep, yep. I like Shaheed too, not gonna lie, Justin Ross too.
Okay, let's take Shahid. I haven't taken him at all. Have you
I
taken
like
him in any
Shaheed. I think
drafts?
I saw a lot of upside and I saw a lot of explosive plays towards the end of the season, and I think that's big because Shaheed came up big in some fantasy leagues towards the end of the season. And I think
Okay.
he'll really carry that momentum into the season. He'll get a lot more volume. And this is a new New Orleans offense. So I think it'll really open up for him. And I think getting him at the 17th round, that could be, you never know what happens. What can happen.
Absolutely. Um, I would say
Yeah.
that we should be looking at either running back, quarterback, or tight end with this last pick. We have eight receivers, so we are stacked at
I think
receiver.
we're
We
good with
went
the
very
receivers.
receiver heavy.
I think we're good
We did take
there.
someone who is not on a team, so running back could be a good focus.
Yep.
Sam Howell could
Yep.
lose his job, so we could take a quarterback. And tight end, I think we have two,
I think
decent
tight end.
guys,
I think we're good with tight end.
dependable
I think
guys. We have
it's
two dependable
yeah.
guys.
I think we should take either quarterback or running back and see how that goes.
Yeah, I agree. Quarterback or running back, depending on, who falls to us. So running back,
Yeah. I like
who
Gus Edwards to be honest.
Gus Edwards would be a nice pick.
Evan
I agree.
Hall, Kyron Williams, Fournette.
Joshua Kelly's interesting.
I also like manager Easy. Pierre Strong recently came to the Browns. Would he be their second running back after Nick Chubb, or
No,
is there
that would be
somebody in
Jerome
between?
Ford.
Jerome Ford. Okay, I wouldn't mind taking Jerome Ford if Nick Chubb, God forbid, gets injured. That's a good value pick there. I would rather have Gus Edwards. I mean, I would rather have Jerome Ford than Gus Edwards. Especially in that Cleveland offense with that Cleveland offensive line.
I would rather have Gus Edwards than Jerome Ford, to be
Really?
honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like banking on an injury versus someone that's gonna get production. It's like I don't really want to bank on an injury. It's not
That's
something I
fair.
like doing. Just simply put that. Or else like the situation. Yes, I agree with your argument. The situation is a lot nicer. Um, yeah. Let's see. Maybe Gus Edwards does fall to us. or maybe we do take a quarterback.
Quarterback, yeah.
Wow,
I
look at
mean,
the
yeah,
quarterbacks that are
it's looking
available.
a little scarce. I mean, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Oh my God, we can't take him.
So these guys are all
So we gotta take
not
a running
guaranteed to
back,
play.
essentially.
Yeah.
Wow, this draft thinned out.
Yeah, so I think definitely one area of weakness that we maybe could have accounted for around earlier was quarterback. I think,
Mm-hmm.
we did take a big chance looking back on Sam Howell, but if he is able to produce, that's definitely a great, great value pick. And look at his
But
bye
that's
week
why we
too.
took Joe Burrow too, to take a chance
Exactly,
later
yeah.
on.
Joe Burrow, I mean Joe Burrow is our main guy. And then one thing that's big on Sam Howell is that his bye week's week 14, so he's healthy if he's good to go. He have him all season. So
Yep, that's true. So yeah, well, we really took a shot on this team. You know, we've tried out so many different strategies. It was time to try out something where we go all in. Really go all in, high upside players, and see what happens. So, I think Evan Hull could be
yep, I
this
like
last
Evan
pick.
Hall.
Just because, I'm looking at all these players, it's really like all nobodies.
I'm not too
Evan Hull
confident
is
yet.
someone I heard recent buzz on. It's like, might as well take him. So that wraps it up. Let's take a look at our team. We have QBs Joe Burrow, Sam Howell, running backs Josh Jacobs, Brees Hall, Brian Robinson, Roshan Johnson, Kareem Hunt, and Evan Hull. Wide
Yep.
receivers Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Jordan Addison, JSN, Tyler Boyd, Nico Collins, Van Jefferson, Rashid Saeed. And tight ends Evan Ingram and Hayden Hurst. So, what are your conclusions and thoughts on this team? And as we wrap it up for today, what's your takeaway from all the drafting?
So I think it was definitely a great experience. You can really see how many different ways you can shape up your roster. And I think we really did a good job today in making sure we got a good value picks. But at the same time, we took risks. And I think it's good to have a mix because in these drafts, I mean, you don't know what some of these players' outcomes is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when it comes to receivers, I think we got really lucky, and I think we should be thankful that we got Devontae Smith, which I think implored us deep down to put more risk towards the young rookie receivers, just because we got Devontae Smith. I feel like had Devontae Smith not have fallen to us, we wouldn't have ended up maybe grabbing those rookies maybe. So
Yeah.
I do like that we took the risk there, and then with running backs, I'm really confident the guys that we got up that we got, Josh Jacobs, Brees Hall. I really like those two guys that we got. And then, if you even look at tight ends, you got Evan Ingram and Hayden Hurst, two reliable guys,
Mm-hmm.
that we've seen in the end zone. Um, slight weakness would be quarterback because we didn't have as much depth. But given that we have Joe Burrow, a guy that we know is prolific and has suspected to be an MVP candidate this season, I'm not too worried. Sam Howell, I would like to think he can keep his job. I've heard some good things about him. And you have a young offense there in Washington. So I'm excited all around, man. I think we drafted really well. I think the pick we got to start things off at three is really good value, given that we got Jamar Chase. I'm feeling good all around.
Awesome. Well, that wraps it up from us. It's Manager Yeezy and Manager Promote signing off for today, and have a
Yep,
good night for all our listeners.
yep. Take care and follow Fantasy Law.